Nephilim, were they truly the offspring of angels and humans? Part 1. The opening, planting the seed of mystery. Welcome, seekers of ancient truths, to a realm where the flickering candlelight dances with shadows, revealing whispers from forgotten scrolls. Tonight, we delve into one of the most enigmatic passages of sacred scripture, a narrative that has fueled millennia of speculation, fear, and profound theological inquiry. We speak of the Nephilim. Who were these beings? The very mention evokes images of giants, of an age before the flood, when the boundaries between the divine and the mortal seem tragically blurred. The Bible, in its sparse yet potent verses, presents us with a puzzle, a cryptic reference to sons of God and daughters of men, leading to the birth of these legendary figures. Could it be that heaven and earth, in a forbidden union, spawned a race that forever altered the course of human history? Join us as we pull back the veil on this enduring mystery, examining the texts, the traditions, and the profound implications of the Nephilim. Part 2. The Journey of Deep Discovery. Subsection A. The historical and cultural context. To understand the Nephilim, we must first transport ourselves to a world vastly different from our own. The ancient Near East, the cradle of the narratives we explore, was a vibrant tapestry of myth, epic poetry, and a deep reverence for the unseen realms. Stories of demigods, heroes of prodigious strength, and the intersection of divine and human lineages were common across various cultures. From the Gilgamesh epic with its mighty hero seeking immortality, to the Ugaritic Baal cycle featuring gods interacting directly with humanity, the idea of a permeable barrier between heaven and earth was not alien. The Book of Genesis, however, presents a unique theological lens. It is within this cosmic drama, specifically in Genesis 6:1-4, that we find the most direct biblical reference to the Nephilim. This passage, situated just before the account of the Great Flood, hints at a world spiraling into corruption, a profound moral decay that necessitated divine intervention. The Nephilim are presented not merely as strong individuals, but as a significant symptom, perhaps even a cause, of this pervasive evil that gripped humanity. Understanding this context helps us appreciate the gravity of their appearance. They are not isolated figures, but integral to the narrative of a world teetering on the brink. Subsection B. Decoding the Scripture and Evidence. Let us turn our gaze to the sacred text itself, the foundation of our inquiry. Genesis 6:1-4 states, "When human beings began to increase in number on the earth and daughters were born to them, the sons of God saw that the daughters of humans were beautiful, and they married any of them they chose. Then the Lord said, 'My spirit will not contend with humans forever, for they are mortal. Their days will be 120 years. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God went to the daughters of humans and had children by them. They were the heroes of old, men of renown.'" This brief passage is dense with meaning and ripe for interpretation. The key terms here are sons of God, B'nai HaElohim, and Nephilim, Nephilim. The phrase sons of God is particularly crucial. In ancient Hebrew literature, this term often refers to divine or angelic beings. For example, in Job 1-6 and 2-1, sons of God appear before God, suggesting a heavenly council. In Psalm 29-1, they are called to worship God. This interpretation, suggesting angelic beings, is the bedrock of the angelic-human hybrid theory. The term Nephilim itself is equally fascinating. It derives from the Hebrew root naphal, meaning to fall. Does this refer to their fallen nature, their descent from a higher realm, or perhaps their tendency to fall upon or oppress others? The Septuagint, the ancient Greek translation of the Hebrew Bible, translates Nephilim as gigantes, or giants, reinforcing the idea of beings of immense stature and strength. This linguistic connection provides significant textual evidence for their extraordinary nature. Further biblical support for the existence of giants or unusually large individuals can be found in later books. Numbers 13:33, for instance, describes the fear of the Israelite spies exploring Canaan. There we saw the Nephilim, the Anakites come from the Nephilim. We seemed like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and we looked the same to them. This post-flood reference suggests that while the original Nephilim may have perished in the deluge, their lineage or a similar giant race persisted, casting a long shadow over human history. Could these later giants be descendants, or perhaps a different phenomenon entirely, influenced by the memory of the original Nephilim? The ambiguity compels us to dig deeper. Subsection C. The hidden theological meaning. Beyond the literal interpretation, what profound theological truths might the Nephilim narrative convey? The story of the sons of God and the daughters of men can be seen as a chilling portrayal of the corruption that arises when boundaries divine, moral, and natural are transgressed. It speaks to the seductive power of evil and the inherent dangers when spiritual beings, entrusted with cosmic order, deviate from their designated roles. The Nephilim, as products of this illicit union, represent a profound disorder. They symbolize a dilution of the created order, a chaotic mixing that was fundamentally an affront to the divine design. Their existence, preceding the flood, serves as a stark illustration of the extent to which humanity, in conjunction with external negative forces, could descend into depravity. It underscores the biblical theme of divine judgment as a necessary response to pervasive evil that threatens the very fabric of creation. This narrative powerfully communicates God's sovereignty over all beings, divine and human, and the ultimate consequences of rebellion against His established order. It reminds us that there are forces at play, both seen and unseen, that continually challenge humanity's purity and purpose. Subsection D. Controversies and theories. While the angelic-human hybrid theory is widely held, especially in ancient Jewish traditions, outside the canonical Bible, like the Book of Enoch, it is not without its detractors and alternative interpretations. The very ambiguity of sons of God has led to significant theological debate. One prominent alternative interpretation suggests that the sons of God were not angels at all, but rather human rulers or nobles, powerful, tyrannical figures who took advantage of ordinary women, leading to a corrupt and oppressive society. In this view, the Nephilim would simply be their strong, perhaps even cruel, offspring. This interpretation emphasizes human responsibility for the widespread wickedness before the flood, shifting the focus from supernatural interference to societal breakdown caused by human power structures. Proponents of this view often point to similar phrases in ancient Near Eastern literature, where kings or powerful men are occasionally referred to in divine terms. Another theory posits that the sons of God refers to the pious lineage of Seth, while the daughters of men refers to the corrupt lineage of Cain. This interpretation frames the narrative as a cautionary tale about the intermingling of righteous and unrighteous lines, leading to a dilution of faith and the proliferation of wickedness. Here, the Nephilim would represent the exceptionally wicked or renowned individuals born from such unions, rather than literal hybrids. Each Haitian grapples with the textual evidence and attempts to reconcile it with broader theological frameworks. The debate highlights the interpretive challenges inherent in ancient texts and the desire to understand such a cryptic passage within a coherent theological worldview. Do we take the text literally, or is it a symbolic representation of moral decay? The answer often lies in the theological lens through which one approaches the scripture. Part 3. The conclusion, the eternal echo. We have journeyed through ancient texts and explored profound questions, seeking to understand the enigma of the Nephilim. Whether understood as literal angelic human hybrids, tyrannical rulers, or the offspring of a corrupted lineage, the narrative of the Nephilim remains a potent symbol of transgression, disorder, and the profound consequences when boundaries are violated. They stand as a testament to an era before the flood, when the world was filled with violence and wickedness, prompting divine judgment. The story of the Nephilim forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about the nature of evil, the vulnerability of creation to corruption, and the persistent struggle between divine order and chaotic forces. It beckons us to consider the unseen influences that shape our world and the critical importance of discerning between the sacred and the profane. While the definitive answer to their true nature may remain elusive this side of eternity, their enduring presence in Scripture serves as a powerful and timeless echo, a reminder that there is more to heaven and earth than is dreamt of in our philosophies, and that the ancient stories still hold profound lessons for our modern souls. What mysteries of faith, then, do we too often dismiss as mere myth, when they might in fact hold keys to understanding our own place in the grand tapestry of existence? Nephilim,